Good evening, I'm Emma Jane Vere and this is Television Tonga News. In the headlines, the regional meeting for Pacific parliamentarians in Nuku'alofa to include climate change issues in its agenda. Tonga Broadcasting Commission issued a licence to broadcast all matches in the Rugby League World Cup 2013. And Cabinet does not approve of 4 recommendations made regarding Tonga Communications Corporation. These and more stories, including news from the Pacific, sports, world and the weather information later on in this bulletin. Let's take a look at the news in detail. The Honourable Speaker of Tonga's Legislative Assembly proposes at the regional meeting for Pacific parliamentarians in Nuku'alofa to include climate change issues in its agenda. He made the statement as he officially opened this year's 2-day meeting held at Whaonelua Convention Centre. Sini Ladu was there today and filed this report.
The Honourable Speaker of Tonga's Legislative Assembly, Lord Whawhanua, called on delegates in the region who are attending the regional meeting for Pacific parliamentarians in Nuku'alofa to start building a network and get to know each other better. Lord Whawhanua believes that this gathering offers more support for regional cooperation. Meanwhile, he also proposed that the meeting include discussions on climate change issues in its agenda.
Hopefully, as we discuss our role as parliamentarians in the Pacific, you find that topics we've selected for you today are stimulating and productive. I've noticed that climate change was not in the stated list of topics. However, there is a session there where deliberation is open to other matters, and I encourage that we include climate change. As proposed in last year's meeting in Samoa, the Pacific Ocean policy is on the agenda. The Pacific is our home, and it's been our lifeline for generations, serving as a highway and not an obstacle, that which unites all Pacific Island communities.
The meeting will also discuss promoting the roles of parliaments, key regional issues, operating modern parliament from the Pacific perspective, and examining how parliamentarians use the skills acquired to tackle key policy issues such as ocean management. It also includes encouraging equality of participation in parliamentary in the workshop.
The Legislative Assembly of Tonga has planned a mock parliament for women and is scheduled to be held here in Tonga in March 2014. I understand that Pacific Island countries have the lowest number of female parliamentarians, and that's with the exception of Australia, New Zealand and French Polynesia. I, for one, advocate candidacy training for women and for both men and women to work together, because there are more women registered to vote here in Tonga than there are men.
Ms. Bridget Fillion, who represented Ms. Betty Amongi, a Member of Parliament from Uganda, shares her views on modern parliament.
Modern parliaments are those in which citizens recognize themselves and find answers to their questions and aspirations. Modern parliaments represent their communities and respond to the issue they raise. Modern parliaments also translate the diverse needs of their communities into legislative action by engaging strategically with governments to play a strong and effective role in policy making and implementation.
Also attending the opening event was Tonga's acting Prime Minister, Honourable Samuel Vaipulu, some of the ministers of the Crown, and also some of the people's representative to Parliament, including the President of Congress of New Caledonia, Honourable Roch, and the Speaker of the Niue Assembly, Honourable Aohiva Levy, and other delegates. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sini Latu.
The official holder of the broadcasting rights for Tonga and some of the Pacific Island countries, Fiji TV, confirmed this morning that all national rugby league bodies do not have the right to broadcast any form of coverage of the 2013 Rugby League World Cup event, except for licensed broadcasters. The official confirmation was sent to Tonga Broadcasting Commission by the legal unit of Fiji TV after they were officially informed by their distributor from Australia. The Tonga Broadcasting Commission has been negotiating with Fiji TV for the broadcasting rights for both radio and television before both parties agreed on a broadcasting package of all matches in the Rugby League World Cup. TBC was then issued with the license to broadcast all matches in the Rugby League World Cup 2013. The Tonga Broadcasting Commission expresses its thanks and gratitude for the assistance and cooperation it's received from the Tongan government, businesses and individuals throughout Tongatapu and the Outer Islands, which enables Radio and Television Tonga to broadcast the Rugby League World Cup through successful negotiations carried out in an official, professional and legal manner. The Cabinet's Economic Development Committee has not approved 4 recommendations put forward from the Public Enterprises Ministry in regards to the Tonga Communications Corporation, or TCC. Fatai Whaingaa has the details.
In an interview with Radio and Television Tonga News, the Honourable Minister for Public Enterprises, Ve'awakata, says the recommendations made about the Tonga Communications Corporation, TCC, was prompted after a review was made on the company's overall performance and operations. The Minister adds, 4 recommendations made includes a proposal to sell the company. The Cabinet's committee did not approve the recommendations we put forward, and that includes a submission to tender 49% of the company's shareholder, while government maintains 51%. The second proposal was for government to maintain 50% shareholder of the company and tender 50% to an interested shareholder. The final option was to never privatize TCC. The review of TCC's operation shows a downward spiral on its performance. TCC shows a decline in the company's annual profit, the decline in its dividend to the government, and the government's insufficient capital to upgrade or develop TCC's equipment. However, lack of human resources or expertise to facilitate the company's needs is another factor contributing to the various challenges identified. However, the Public Enterprise Minister denies assumptions that a foreign company, Vodafone, will take over the company. For Television Tonga News, I'm Fatai Whaingaa.
The acting CEO of the Ministry of Infrastructure, Ofa Whaanunu, yesterday signed an agreement with the manager of the privately owned Petani Quarry, Sector Wha Malupo, to operate the government-owned Ahonono Quarry. This is located at Fuamotu. This will be for a 5-year period. Linda Filiai tells you more.
The government-owned Ahonono Quarry business has been closed since 2007 due to the lack of funds. A government decision has been made to privatize it in order for it to reopen and resume operations. According to the acting CEO of the Ministry of Infrastructure, Ofa Whaanunu, the Ahonono Quarry provides high-quality products for the kingdom for road maintenance and other work. Once it resumes operation, this will also benefit government financially. The government will be able to claim tax and other royalties from the quarry once it starts running. An estimate of 2 million pa'anga per annum will be collected. So this is a new era to see it reopens for business. He adds the Ministry of Infrastructure support the reopening of the Ahonono Quarry, believing there will be a lot of opportunity for its operation, including the resealing of the runway at Fuamotu Airport and repair a number of roads in Tongatapu. The government has approved more than 6 million pa'anga at the beginning of the year towards road maintenance in the kingdom, and the rocks from Ahonono Quarry can be used for such work. There's also a need for the resealing the runway at the Fuamotu Airport, amongst other work. Mr. Whaanunu says the decision is made as government believes Petani Quarry has the potential and the skills to operate the quarry business. Petani Quarry has been operating in the kingdom for more than 10 years. The manager, Sector Wha Malupo, adds that more work is needed in order to efficiently operate the Ahonono Quarry despite its high-quality rocks. The rocks found at Ahonono Quarry is so hard, not even a bulldozer can smash it to get smaller rocks from it. The only way to break it is to drill into it and collect all the smaller rocks, which come from it. The Infrastructure Ministry says 6 private companies had applied to operate the Ahonono Quarry, which was then given to Petani Quarry. For Television Tonga News, I'm Linda Filiai.
From court, a 43-year-old man from Golonga will appear in the Magistrate Court November 20th. Mafileo Otula was charged with manslaughter amongst other charges. According to the prosecutor, he's accused of the death of a foreigner in a car crash which occurred October 28th. Otula crashed into an electric pole beside the slope at Golonga. He's been charged for manslaughter, driving under the influence of alcohol, and driving without a license. The accused was released on bail and will reappear in the Magistrate Court later this month. A government project for the elderly called Tonga Social Services Pilot is calling for special attention to be made on the elderly who are important to any society. The project is piloted by the Ma'afafine Moe Family Centre. Anasiu Falekaono reports.
According to the director of the Ma'afafine Moe Family Centre, Betty Blake, a recent visit to various elderly people throughout Tonga identified a need to ensure that they are living in a clean, tidy and a secure environment. From the visits, we identified that many elderly people are living in very poor conditions. The most pressing need for them is for clean toilet facilities. One elderly man we visited had an outdoor toilet which was 50 meters from the main house he was in. It was so difficult for him to get it, whether it rained hard or was very windy. We are trying to help address this challenge. Mrs. Blake says they are working with partners on ways to address these problems. The pilot program is funded by the Japanese Aid Program throughout the Asian Development Bank. For Television Tonga News, I'm Anasiu Falekaono.
The national program to develop handicrafts in Tonga will not only help change people's livelihoods, but also improve cultural tourism in the kingdom. The National Handicrafts Program was launched in 2012 to provide more opportunities for Tongans who want to improve the quality marketing of handicrafts. The program's national coordinator, Mona Lisa Balu, told New Zealand's Pacific Scoop that cultural tourism is important for Tongans because of the kingdom's rich culture, which can be shared with visitors and tourists. Most of the participants in the program are women and men who support their families through their handicrafts. The program is funded by New Zealand Aid in collaboration with the Langafonua Awhawhine Tonga organisation. A visually impaired young man isn't letting his disability stand in the way of his dreams to develop his musical talent. Samiu Unaloto Iwaha Feke from Mawhanga likes music and can play musical instruments such as a guitar and keyboard. Anasiu Falekaono has more on that story.
Samuel Feke is from Mawhanga. He's in his early 20s and has been blind since he was very young. The optimistic young man shared with Television Tonga News about his passion for music. Growing up, I liked to sing. I would go to Kavatonga gatherings and sing there and join their singing and also join youth groups at church. Even though I'm blind, I'd like to develop my music talent and make a living out of it to help support my family. Sami's mother, Leata Isamoa Uvea, says Sami went blind when he got meningitis when he was very young. My son didn't have any physical disabilities when he was born, but suffered from meningitis. When he was much younger, and the doctor said that it will affect his sight. Sami Feke encourages other young people to use their talents wisely and not let challenges and disabilities stop them from living their lives.
That's local news. Pacific is next.